And we're on.
We are live. Well, welcome back to Rubberducking Podcast, everyone. I am your host, Charles.
And I'm your co-host, Mike.
So today, I am going to share a little bit about my story and who I am. Just like how we have been for the last, I don't know, it's like, how many months?
Half a year now.
Half a year now.
Yeah,
Wow.
at least.
Wow, we've come a long way, and
Sure have.
I'm not even closely. I'm not even done with my story yet. So
And thank you, listeners, for following along and
yes,
engaging with us.
yes, yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate your support and asking us questions, and really love the engagement as well. Thank you so much. So last episode, I briefly talked about getting hired by Link,
Oh,
which is
yes,
Liberty in
that's
North
right.
Korea.
That's where we left off.
That's right. That's right. The nonprofit organization
Uh-huh.
that helps North Korean people to escape from China and come to South Korea.
Oh, okay. But they had a presence in the United States.
That's right. Their headquarters is in United States.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's in Long Beach.
Oh.
Yeah, the headquarters is
I
in
see.
Long Beach. Yeah.
Huh.
So right before I got hired, right, by Link, I used to work as a driving instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, I used to work as like an Uber and Lyft driver, right?
Right.
Even after graduating from coding bootcamp, because
Wow.
nobody hired me or
no.
even gave me a chance for an interview. So
Uh-huh.
I unfortunately couldn't work in the tech industry. So I, decided to, work a little odd jobs here and there,
Uh-huh.
driving for Uber and Lyft and driving instructor as well. And I don't know, at one point, like I was, I was trying to work as a driving instructor, and usually, like the companies, right? Driving instructors are companies,
Right,
like
yeah.
they driving schools, they cover their driver's insurance,
Uh-huh.
right? And they cover their driver's insurance plus whoever is in the car,
Oh,
which
I
is
see.
the students,
Makes
right?
sense. Yep.
Driver and the teacher and the student. But for some odd reason, my school they did not cover it, and they asked me to pay for their own insurance, right?
Hmm.
And I ended up going to farmers insurance,
Uh-huh.
and I asked, how much is it?
Uh-huh.
I'll give you a wild guess. How
Are we
much it
talking
was
like a monthly?
Monthly, yeah.
I don't know, $1,000?
$1,200
Whoa.
per month.
You wouldn't even make that much. from
No, yeah. So I was like, wait, excuse me? 1,200
the
for per.
1,200.
So basically, what it meant was it's for me, for the car, liability, and also for the student as well.
Right. I mean,
I mean-
makes sense if you put it all together, but like, I guess there's a reason why the companies usually pay for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was stunned, right?
Uh-huh.
And I ended up using my own like a personal insurance. Because like the car, I had insurance on the car.
Right.
But anyway, that was really strange, and I really didn't like, because it was owned by like, not to throw any shades, but it was owned by Chinese people. And I mean, they're nice people. They're really nice, right?
Uh-huh.
They're nice couple, like older couple, you know, and they were nice, but
Sounds like it was a kind of a mom and pop business. They
That's
didn't really
right.
have that much money to cover anything
no,
anyway.
no, not
Okay.
really. Yeah,
I see.
yeah, and then like while doing that, it's like I did work for like 6 months, and I frankly didn't like it, because I would get frustrated and I was scared, like
Yeah.
like students, like they don't listen,
Uh-huh.
right? Especially as teenagers, like 14, 15,
Oh, wow.
like, yeah,
They're just so excited.
yeah. So at the end of that, I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then I started working at Link. But let me tell you, so at the time, so Link, right? So I can't quite remember the whole backstory of Link, but basically Link was found by Adrian Hong, which is he's a Korean guy, but he's a Mexican national.
Whoa.
And he actually attended Yale.
Wow.
And then he found liberty in North Korea, and he dropped out of Yale because he wanted to do human rights activism. So
Wow. Okay.
back in like 2008 or something like that. And then he was doing that, and he was, like growing the company, as they say, like non-profit liberating North Korea. And then he met Hannah Song, right? Hannah Song, who is the CEO of Liberty in North Korea. She used to work for NPR as a marketing, like a person, right? So she was like marketing like shampoos and all these kind of different things. Like she would, I know, yeah, it's
NPR.
Yeah, really? At NPR, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And she told me about it. And at some point, like Adrian is more like spontaneous. He likes to do his work like hands-on, right? And he's like right at the moment, right? It's very a person of like impulseness, I guess. I don't know. But he's a very good person, but he makes mistakes a lot, right? And there was like a couple of times when he was detained in China.
Oh no!
Because like certain things got out of hands.
Oh wow!
Anyway, so Link kicked Adrian Hong off of their company as a CEO.
Oh wow!
And Hannah Song took over the company. Which is the new CEO, right?
Yeah.
And then from 2008, like I guess like they've been constantly going around and raising awareness, and which they did a great job of doing. And also they started going to universities, and then they found chapters and clubs at a university, and also that's how they raised money as well. So like this, like they and the school chapters, let's go rescue teams, like that's what they called it. Rescue teams, and those kind of teams would host, right, like a night at the universities, and hey, we have a cookie, come learn about like North Korean like cultures and North Korean refugees, like come talk to North Korean refugees, something like that. And then on top of that, they actually came up with this program called Nomad programs. So a group of college kids, right, interning for Liberty in North Korea as an internship, right, and they would pair up in a truck or a minivan, and they would drive around the country, literally from
just the 2 people, 2 college students, or
3 to 4.
Okay, so
3 to 4
team
people.
Of people.
Yeah, team of people. They would actually drive around, and then they would go to like different like universities. They go to different schools and high schools, and all these different kind of places, and raise awareness of what's happening in North Korea. Right? And hey, we're doing this kind of rescue work. Like, can you contribute? Can you donate? Things like that.
Raising money.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, fundraising. And let me tell you, there was a lot of like couples came out of that, right? I mean, imagine like 3 to 4 people driving in a minivan, like
see that.
like for like months on end, you know, and they ended up like getting married and whatnot.
Oh wow!
Until there was devastating accident.
Oh no!
So what happened was that these 3 people. 3 people, university people, 3 kids, like basically like kids, right? They're like in university, like
very young,
sophomore, junior, and plus senior is like 20. They were on their way to the next stop. So they're traveling, and they weren't supposed to be driving at night, but they were. They're driving at night, and one of them, I think the driver actually fell asleep.
Oh no!
And he literally crashed into a big truck, and all 3 of them died.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So they had to actually stop the Nomad program. Yeah.
Wow.
Because of like death of those 3 kids.
Tragic.
That was very tragic. Yeah, and it was a tough time for everyone, right? Because like the family, were coming to Link every day. It's like bring back my child, and
oh my goodness,
those kind of things, and they were crying, and it was a mess. But Link survived that, and I think that was like back in 2013 or 14. I can't quite remember, but it happened. And then Link stopped doing that, but they still needed help, right? So they would hire this. They would hire like it's basically an unpaid internship to like give experience to like college kids, right? So they would do like a marketing. It's like like a sales associates, right? It's
Mhm.
like you call people, writing hand letters, to
Mhm.
like a donation, like a people who donate,
Uh-huh.
keeping track of like donations and whatnot, those kind of like daily tasks, right?
Uh-huh.
At the nonprofits. And then I come along as a network intern or I, IT intern. I
Well,
don't
initially you were like a tech intern, right? To work in like
technically a tech
their
intern, right,
IT
tech intern,
department.
technical
Yeah.
department, and because Link was unpaid internship,
Uh-huh.
right? And people are from all over the country, basically. Like they're
Mhm.
from Texas, they're from like Nashville, they're from like
Wow.
Tennessee, they're from like all over the country, right?
Yeah.
And they needed to provide a housing. So for they used to provide housings for the interns at Long Beach.
Oh, very
Uh,
nice.
oh, you think it's nice? No.
No. I mean,
It was like
location sounds
gunshots
nice.
everywhere. It's like
Oh, really? Is it not a safe
like
area?
not because it's cheap, right? Because
Oh,
I mean, Link
okay.
is nonprofit and they can't afford to
I
actually.
they
So like a,
got a
a
place
two
that
doors
was a little
down,
cheap.
two doors
Okay.
down, it's like the drug dealer's house.
Oh no! Oh my
So it
goodness.
was very unsafe all around. And then
Oh.
one day when the interns came back home and they found like the bullet holes in the
No,
house.
oh my
So
goodness.
and I think that's why they actually switched
Uh-huh.
right to Palos Verdes. It's one of the nicest area in LA. It's called
Oh.
Palos Verdes.
Wow, I don't know if I've
It's
been
right
there.
above the Redondo Beach. I'm not sure if you know Redondo
No,
Beach.
I don't know
Do you
that
know
area
where
very well.
Torrance is?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, Torrance, and then Torrance, and then like it goes a little up to the mountains, and then it's right on top of the mountain. It's
Uh-huh.
really nice. Anyway,
Oh,
it's
okay.
really nice. The house was like a mansion, right? The one that I actually went to was like a mansion.
Whoa. Okay, so that's now the housing for the interns?
Yeah, it's for the
Okay.
interns, right?
Oh, wow.
And I did not know at the time, like
Uh-huh.
I didn't know how many people were actually interning for Link, right?
Uh-huh.
So I thought it was like, yeah, maybe like team of like maybe 2 or 3, or maybe
Uh-huh.
5. When I got there, there's 9 girls and 1 man in the house, right?
Interesting. Okay.
Including me, it's 11, right?
Uh-huh. Huh.
And I was like, what?
Hmm.
And they put this 9 girls and a 1 guy in the same house, right? I was like, they're living together.
Whoa, okay.
And we're driving from intern house to the headquarter,
Uh-huh.
right? But of course, it's not. We don't live in the same room. Like, there's
Yeah.
multiple different rooms. Like,
Uh-huh.
I think let's see. So there was. Let me see. I can count. I can still count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total of 5 bedrooms.
Okay.
And then 2 bathrooms.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
5. So there's a downstairs and there's
Uh-huh.
upstairs,
I
right?
see. Uh-huh.
So there is 3 bedrooms on downstairs
Uh-huh.
with 1 bathroom,
Interesting. Okay.
and then there were 1, 2, so including master bedroom, and then a small guest bedroom.
Uh-huh.
2. So there's 2, and then
Wow.
1
I mean,
bathroom.
11 people, although yes, that is a relatively large house, but that's a lot of people for the house.
It was chaotic.
I
It
bet
was chaotic. So every morning, right? Imagine 9 girls trying to get ready,
shower. Okay.
right?
Oh no.
Man, I mean, some people get up at like 6 a.m. We have to be at the
Right.
office by 9. But like some
Yeah.
people literally gets up at 6
Wow.
like 6
Well,
a.m.
that's
getting
weird.
ready.
Like I think that usually houses or homes with 5 bedrooms usually have more bathrooms than that.
No, yeah, it was
That's odd, but
Yeah.
yeah, I can imagine the chaos of the
it
morning.
was very chaotic. Maybe there's 3 bathrooms.
Yeah, I believe that. more.
Maybe 3 bathrooms.
Okay. Even then, there's way too many people trying
Yeah.
to get ready all at the same
No,
time.
yeah, it was chaotic. A lots of hair. It was just crazy.
I'm curious actually about the demographics of people who worked there. Were they all Koreans, or were they
Yeah.
more like mixed diverse group, or how was what was the breakup like? Or
Yeah,
makeup like?
it was all Koreans actually.
Ah.
Well, I mean, like, so the first time when I got there, there's 1 white person who's
Uh-huh.
interning, right, which is a
Yeah.
girl, and then 9 of them were. So 1 of them was white. The guy who was gay.
Uh-huh.
He was Taiwanese,
Oh, interesting.
and then the 8 of them were Korean.
I see. Well, maybe it's because of the issue. The topic is
Right.
very close to the heart of a lot of Koreans. Maybe it just draws a lot of Korean or East Asians towards that, as opposed to folks who may not just know about.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that a lot of Americans probably don't fully understand like which side is the bad side among the two, right? So yeah, I understand that. Okay, and then of course the LA area is very South
Right,
Korean
LA,
heavy.
like a Korean population, very populated by Korean people. But yeah, it was really fun to say the least. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it because I think like that's like the first kind of like a real like social gatherings, I guess. Like for me, like
since coming to US.
since coming to US,
Really?
like,
Wow.
I've been like isolated with like 2 people maximum hanging out with at the same time,
I
right?
see.
And like I don't have friends. I didn't have many friends. But I am the only North Korean refugee, interning for Liberty North Korea. And then and I was the only guy, right?
Oh,
It's the
okay.
there's the other guy, but like all the people knew that he was gay. So I was very popular amongst the ladies. I think it's because because I was North Korean, right?
I
and
see.
these
They
people
had
who
all
working
these
at the link,
intrigue as to like, oh, what's North Korean like?
right. It's like and also like these people are interning for Liberty North Korea, right?
Right.
Who's like directly get to work with North Korean refugees. So it's kind of like a celebrity, right?
Oh,
Almost
yeah. I mean,
in
I
a
can
way.
see that. Yeah.
So yeah, hanging like after like we'll go to work together, we'll come back together, and sometimes we'll like go out, like all of like as a group. Yeah, it was fun. Besides like the toilet keep getting clogged, other than that, it was really fun. And as like they would like we have like a videographer, they're intern for videographies, and like journalism and like the marketings and rescue teams and those kind of interns, and they would actually do a lot of interviews with me, and like make a video as like a final project, right?
I see.
Also they're writing a link blog to put that on like the Liberty North Korea website.
I see. So are these like students who are
They are
short
students.
term?
That's right.
Gotcha.
They're college students.
I see. So
Yeah.
and because this is not a paid internship, correct? So like they're spending their own money doing this.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're paying their own money for the groceries, not just house and transportations. They don't have to pay for those because Link provides transportations and housing.
I see.
And I think Link should definitely pay people, like.
Well, yeah, it's better if the organization can pay the employees even if they're interns.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
And at some point I started doing interviews with like news outlet medias, like news medias.
Yeah.
And then Hannah realized, the CEO, she realized, well, seems like you have a really good story.
Yeah.
And you're really good with people.
Yeah, you might say you're doing a podcast now.
Right. Yeah. So Hannah was like, why don't you just come along with us, because we're doing the fundraising and you can go around the country and share your story and help us raise funds. So I agreed happily, and I'm happy to report I raised like closer to $600,000 to $800,000.
Wow,
$800,000.
that's amazing. Yeah.
Going around the like Tennessee and Nashville, like the southern states. And some of the houses that I visited there, it was crazy. The housings there was cheap, right? And one of the person's house that I visited, I can't remember the names, but I can't remember the location either, but it was an exact replica of a White House.
No.
But a little bit smaller.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, exact replica of a White House.
Did it have the Oval Office? Did you get to see it?
I can't remember, but But yeah, it's outside wise, right?
So clearly, the
Outside.
link is going to their probably not a clientele, but donors, right? That
Donors,
they're
yeah,
very
yeah,
wealthy and
right.
have the means to give to
Right.
fund their operations.
Right. Yeah. So those kind of houses.
Uh huh.
And they had like a private like 18 golf course, like 18 hole like a
Wow.
18 hole
Okay.
golf
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
It was very fun. And then I just completely switched my career from being an IT intern to literally a advocacy fellow.
I see. So up until this point, like you're actually just doing like helping people with computers and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, that's odd. I mean, so the people at Link knew that you were from North Korea, but they didn't really think earlier than this to get you involved in the fundraising or telling your story at all.
You know, I think about that a lot these days, but I think they did have that kind of intentions to it, right?
Oh, okay.
But they just wanted to see, is this guy can tell a story?
Oh, I see. They just wanted
this guy can this guy actually speak? Because like Link doesn't want to put up a person who can't really speak English or who can't really, like what if I ruined the reputation, right? Or like, I don't know.
Being
it's kind of like
maybe more careful with their approach.
being careful, right? And I was gonna go there next. Is that so I actually was working for Link, and I raised a lot of money, and which I was very happy to do so, like helping North Korean people and like rescuing a North Korean refugee from China to Southeast Asia, which is like 3,000 miles, and that takes a lot of money,
right?
And that takes a lot of resources to do so.
That's right.
And I was very happy that I was able to raise the money for my brothers and sisters.
Wow.
But to at a certain point in our lives, that like I am spending my own savings, right, to do this kind of work, and I see no future in this like kind of like place. You know what I mean? Like, so first of all, like they actually gain massive positive feedback from like taking me around the country, and actually raising funds. I mean, like they've got more than $500,000, right, because of me.
Yeah,
and then they got an idea. It's like, oh, why don't we have like more Charles? Like, why don't we hire more North Korean refugees from South Korea, and then we just train them, and we get to actually take them around and share their stories, just like Charles did. So what they did was they actually hired 8 to 10 North Korean refugees from South Korea, and they brought them to America, right? So basically, well, I think it's a good idea, right? First of all, like it's like a language exchange, right? So they would come to America, and they would just practice English, English for like 2 months, and then they write up their story, right? And there's one person who helped write people's stories.
I'm
too.
sure they will still need help, so that makes perfect sense.
Right,
yeah.
and then they would take these North Korean refugees around and also share their stories, like I did. Which was, which was a massive hit, because like, like taking North Korean refugees around, the country and sharing the story of like, it becomes real, to donors, right? Instead of like, like the organization people goes there and just like keep saying,
talks about the refugees.
But actually bringing refugees there,
that's right,
it hits different.
Yeah.
So it was a massive hit, and all of these kind of great things are happening, and I was like, I'm so happy for Link. It's amazing. But while saying this, I kind of like realized Link is doing like very pick and choose.
Right.
Like if like first of all, I did not know that Link was making people sign a waiver.
Okay. Do you know what that waiver said?
Like I heard from another North Korean defector friend who was rescued by Link. They said that, like when I come to South Korea, like I will share my story with Link. Like kind of like, it's like, I have like Link has the right to own
I
person's
see.
story,
Oh, interesting.
pictures,
Okay. Uh-huh.
like a waivers, right?
Right. It's like publisher's rights or something.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
which I don't like. Like, what if I say no, right? Like,
Yeah, then would
and
they
they
not
can't
risk
say
you?
no. Yeah, right? No, exactly. So
Yeah, I
like,
guess that begs the question, right?
yeah, it's like,
okay.
yeah, there's no way I'm gonna say no to that. Like, even though I'm
Mhm.
not comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And everyone has to sign that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also realized that, you know, for a while, like after seeing this massive hits, like I was
Uh-huh.
kept telling Hannah, it's like, hey, why don't we create a program that actually can help people who resettled in America instead of like, you know, keep trying. Yeah, it's good
Right.
that you keep raising money to support, right, the North Korean refugees that are in China. But first of all, we need to figure out why people are jumping into the river, right? And why are they drowning? We need to find the cause of it. Like, you are basically taking out those drowning people from the river and then putting them into another part of a river that is even deeper.
Wow.
You know, where there's like a financial crisis. You know,
Wow.
people don't know what the heck's going on with their lives. You know, and as I was mentioning earlier in the episode, it's like more than 50% of North Korean defectors said they're not happy in South Korea because of you know, these kind of different things. And knowing that, right? Link obviously knows that. And then I was like, oh yeah, I don't really care because we have a business going on right now. And it's an operation where we get paid. We send people to China. We don't go there directly. We send people with the money that we earn. We pay them. I don't know how much, and who knows how much, right?
Okay.
And we're paying our staff, right? And then we're good, right?
Wow.
And we don't really need to create a program for North Korean refugees that already resettled, because they're being taken care of by South Korean regime, South Korean government, right?
Wow.
So, you know, I kind of agree with that too, right? It's like, okay, well, I mean, like when I came to America, like I've got help from the government because I was, you know, minor.
Right.
But for some people, they don't get help at all because they came here as an adult.
That's right.
And then, you know, I you know, still didn't have anything to say, right? Because like what I'm an intern. Like, I'm not a staff here. I mean, I'm just an intern. I'm just like providing an idea, right? But they don't follow. That's fine. And I was keep working for them. And then until this one fateful day, I got into a huge car accident.
Oh.
Right? Like, I literally got into a huge car accident.
What? I never heard of this.
Yes. So I was coming. So it was on Sunday. I was coming back from Chipotle. I'm so thankful that nobody was in the car at the time.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So it was just myself. And I was driving back home, and you know, because it was on the far top of the hill, right? The house was literally like, you know, think about like a hill as like the like a little like arched hill, right?
Yep.
And the house was very on the top.
Oh wow.
Right.
Okay.
So people who are coming from on either on the side like can't see. Like, I can't see.
Right.
And then like I needed to make a left turn to go into the driveway. Right. And I didn't see a car coming, and I turned left, and then this car was just because remember it was uphill, right? So and this guy was accelerating, like basically like pedal to the metal, you know, and like 40 miles and full speed just comes and slams into my car.
Oh my goodness, got T-boned big time.
I got T-boned. Yeah, I got T-boned really bad, and then my car basically leaped backwards, right, and just like. And then it just came down and it completely totaled. And then
was this the Civic?
No, it was a van. It was a minivan.
Oh, it was mini. The
Link's car
by Link.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's provided by Link. And completely totaled. And I was fine at that time. Like, I miraculously, I thought I was fine, right? 3 days later, I cannot move.
Oh, yeah.
I can't move.
Like that,
yeah. So I've been keep going like chiropractors and remember, yeah, I was going chiropractors and acupuncture. Like, I tried everything, like going to hospitals and again, with my own money.
Wow, that's gotta cost a lot.
Yeah, it dried up my savings, right?
Yeah, I believe
I
it.
was living on my savings anyway,
Uh-huh.
right? It was like with the food that I was eating,
Oh my
because
goodness.
they didn't provide food. And then I asked Hannah, hey, like, I need to cover his medical bills. Like, can you
Uh-huh.
help me?
Uh-huh.
He's like, oh, interns don't get paid.
That's what she said?
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, interns. We don't pay our interns.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So think about it. A North Korean organization that is
Uh-huh.
working for North Korean refugees
Uh-huh.
refuses to pay a medical bill to cover medical expenses for a North
Uh-huh.
Korean.
Wow.
Like, I was outrageous, right?
Wow. That
And at the
is-
time, like,
yeah.
At the time, I was like, yeah, well, it's fine. It's my fault anyway. But later on, like, it basically, and also, right? And refugees pay for everything anyway. So, and then because my internship ended, right? So my internship
Oh, so
ended.
it was a term limited internship. as
Right,
well
right.
for
It's
you.
like
Okay.
it's like a like 2 years. I started 2017.
Oh, wow, that's a long period of time that you worked for them, and there was no during that time there was no talk of converting you into like a full time hire or getting
No.
you onto a payroll. Nothing.
Nope. Yep.
Whoa, and then you are going around raising hundreds
I was
of
the
thousands
face
of
of
dollars.
Link for.
Yeah, I believe it.
I was the face of
'Cause
Link for a while.
Who did they have those better anyway?
Hmm?
Right? They didn't have any other better
No.
option.
No, I
Who
don't
speaks
think
English
so.
like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I
okay.
don't think so. Anyway, and then I kind of like split ways with Link,
Okay.
right? Because like, okay, well, like I want to end on a good term. Like I want to end
Uh-huh.
on a good note,
Wow.
right? I don't want to like, because like, yeah, Link is doing a great job, but and I don't want to cause any kind of trouble.
Mm.
But I was thinking more about it. It was like, and then also like I hear from all of these different North Korean defectors telling me how bad Link is. Every single
Mm.
one of the people who went through Link,
Uh-huh.
kind of like who are in contact with Link,
Uh-huh.
any North Korean and every North Korean refugees who are in contact with Link hates them.
Whoa.
Like they despise Link.
Are these people that
So,
the Link rescued out of North Korea?
No. It's just like take advantage of.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I'm
Wow.
going to share the names of those people.
Yeah, sure.
So Yumi Park, for example,
Yeah.
she worked with Link for a bit,
uh-huh.
and she hates Link.
Wow.
And Link actually talked bad about Yumi Park on the behind
So
their
they're a bit of
back
enemies,
anyway.
okay.
They're enemies.
uh-huh.
Danny from North
Uh-huh.
Korea. So he was like one of the biggest, like right before, like I think 2 or 3 generations before me, or 2 or
Uh-huh.
3 years before me, right? And
Yeah.
he was the kind of like guy at Link,
I see.
North Korean refugee,
I see. So before
and then
you.
before me,
Yeah.
and he hated Link.
Wow.
Like he just like, okay, yeah, I'm Link, you guys suck,
Huh.
and he left.
Wow.
Shin Dong-hyuk, right?
Mhm.
Shin Dong-hyuk is he's the guy who wrote Escape from
Oh, yeah,
Camp
that's
14,
right. Uh-huh.
right? He was the original, like the OG for
The
a guy
OG.
who's working for Link,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And then he parted from Link, like he hates Link.
I see. That's interesting. So they raise money to save and rescue the North Koreans, but that fund that they have was built up using essentially like stolen labor of North Koreans who are in
Yeah,
United States.
and basically, yeah.
Whoa.
Basically, and they're sending like, oh hey, and also here is a very interesting little thing as well. Like, do you remember I was talking about Evelyn Tong, a little like a girl like who I wanted to actually really work with, right?
Okay.
And
yeah,
I think
yeah,
I mentioned that
yeah,
before.
you will mentioned it to me in private, not on the show. I don't think.
Not on the
but
show, yeah, but
uh-huh.
yeah. So, like one of my my dream is
Uh-huh.
actually to help North Korean refugees, right? Like, and
Uh-huh.
I've done it
Okay.
so, and I
Uh-huh.
want to like create a reputable and also like a place like a Craigslist, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, like a place where I can actually help refugees, like help them find a job, help them find the housing,
Okay.
help them like find the scholarships, help them find,
Sounds similar to what Catholic Charities did for you.
exactly, yeah, but for North Korean refugees, right?
Yeah.
Because when they come to America as an adult,
That's
they
right.
don't get that.
That's right.
Like
That's right.
no refugees get that actually. So
Uh-huh.
that's the thing that kind of I want to do, which like sounds more like Link but more ethical, and I reached out to this girl because she has a story, she's American, and hey, can we like work together and to like create something very similar, like can we work together? And she's like, no, like I hate organizations. Like Link reached out to me.
Burned
Link reached out to me, and they've taken advantage of me for so long that I don't want to do it anymore.
Wow.
Like
so it's pretty unanimous. Anybody who brushed up against Link and had some sort of relationship with them had an experience of essentially being exploited.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like my closest friends, like North Korean friends that were in NorCal, the Nuna, right? So my Nuna, which is who she introduced me to driving school. She's a North Korean, and she was rescued by Link.
Oh, okay.
And she tried to stop me for so long that don't work for Link.
Even though
Link
she saved her life, she was still saying,
well, not saved her life. It was more of like, I don't know. But yeah, she was rescued by Link in China. And she was just like, no, don't do it.
Oh,
don't
so
do it.
She knew.
Yeah,
even
she knew. It's like
beneficiary perspective. She still knew that there was something fishy going on with.
Yeah. And then she was telling me, don't do it, but I didn't listen because, well, I mean, like what have I got to lose, right?
Okay. Well, I actually wanted to ask you because, at least from your perspective, right? Like you clearly at the time didn't know, right? Well, all the shady things that were going on. I mean, wage theft, maybe, right? Labor exploitation, whatever that may be. And I can see how it might have looked like a really good way to maybe give back to other North Koreans. I mean, from your eyes, it must have looked like a good organization that's doing good work. So, like, were you pretty like excited about partnering with them? Okay,
I was very excited. And I mean, to a certain extent, I'm thankful for Link, right? Because like I've learned a lot. And
it's taught you some life lessons.
Exactly, yeah. I've learned a lot, and
just like the dealerships did. is it that way?
That's in those kind of sort of ways.
I see.
But I mean, they're good people. Like they're good people with good hearts, right?
I see.
But it's like one of those like classic case of like, the nonprofit organization with good heart turned to like business.
Right. I mean, kind of two things like. First of all, good intentions don't always lend in good outcomes.
That's true.
Right.
That's
and
true.
another thing is that it seems that the Link as an organization was a means to an end at some point, right? It was a means to rescue North Korean people, free as many people as they can. But at some point along the way, it turned into an end in itself. Like sustaining the business is the purpose now.
That's right.
Maybe it's a side effect that they are rescuing some people out of North Korea. And yeah, it fits. To me, it fits.
Yeah, I mean, they have to exist, right?
Yeah.
To actually do the work that they need to do, which is like, just my humble opinion is that, like, they're good people, but they have to survive, right? They have to feed their families. They have to pay for insurance. They have to pay for this and that and that,
right.
and, a lot of different things. So I understand, but what I'm actually just, like speaking up about is like, you should pay interns.
Well,
and when next time,
right.
when you hire an intern, a North Korean intern gets an accident and pays a lot of money for hospital bills, you should probably help them pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an organization that exists to help North Korean people, so it's only natural. I think it's fair to ask that.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell my students, don't work for free. Doesn't matter what it is, don't work for free.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like, especially folks who have talents or gifts or something to bring to the table enough such that the organization is making you a star, right, of them, then you're clearly worth something. Definitely more than $0 and having to pay your own medical bills while driving a company car.
Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the next topic, right? So right after Link, I actually went to South Korea.
You went to South Korea?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
So, as a ending note, right,
Uh-huh.
to Link, and it was November or December of 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, December of 2018.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I've always wanted to go to South Korea, and I just got my citizenship as well. I got my citizenship August
Oh.
of 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, so 4 months prior
Uh-huh.
to go to South Korea, I got my citizenship. I was like,
Uh-huh.
yes, and I got the passport.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I remember like the first like time when I was in Thailand, I was like coming to America. Like I stopped at South Korea for
Mhm.
briefly, and like smelling the naengmyeon smell, kimchi smell,
Oh,
and like
man.
the doenjangjjigae and
Uh-huh.
all this kind of food smell, like
Yeah.
passing by food court, and
Uh-huh.
it was so memorable and so unforgettable.
Uh-huh.
So I've decided to go to South Korea again, because like I've never actually went outside of the airport, so I
Yeah.
never know what South Korea was like.
Wow.
And yeah, I got on a plane and then I went to South Korea, and there's much anticipation in my heart.
I
It's
bet.
like,
I bet.
it's Korea. It's my homeland.
That's
This is
right.
like this
Uh-huh.
is like my one country, and like I'm like, I can't wait to like feel this, like like I come back to this land as a free man.
Uh-huh. That's right. Yeah.
And I was so excited, and
Mhm.
then I go to the airport. I get out of the airport, and then coming out, I remember like airport, like when I first went
Uh-huh.
to the airport, a lot of people are very polite, very
Mm.
nice,
I
and then
see.
they're like, oh, you should wave there because they're waving at you, it's like, can you wave to those people? It's like,
Uh-huh.
I've only good memories, right? Only good memories, but coming back, they're just like, it's not the same, It's
Uh-huh.
like they weren't.
There's no warm welcome for you. This
Yeah,
time.
there is not any welcoming kind of things going on. It's
Uh-huh.
more of like, okay, like, why are you here?
Uh-huh.
Like, where are you visiting? It's like blah blah blah. I was like, oh yeah, I'm here to see my girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Because my wife at the time, she was in South
Oh,
Korea.
that's right.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
At the time, yeah, she was a girl. So I was visiting her,
Oh, I see.
and then I come outside of the airport, and it's cold as balls, bro. It's so
Oh,
cold.
December, yeah, that's
It
cold.
was
December is cold.
freezing.
And for context, you're coming from California.
That's right. That's right. Like, I'm like,
You've
well,
gotten soft.
I know.
You've
I
forgotten the North Korean
forgot.
winter.
I remember. Yeah, I forgot how cold it was, and I
Yeah.
was like, I could feel like my nose, right? Like my nose are getting like freezing inside. I was like, oh. And then I come to Seoul, and
Uh-huh.
I come to Sinchon, and it was like New York.
Right. Yeah, it
felt
is like that.
It felt like,
Concrete jungle.
yeah, concrete jungle, and I cannot feel I cannot feel like it was Korea.
Really?
It was
Oh,
more
interesting.
of like much more cleaner version of K-Town in LA.
Interesting. So
You
it
know,
felt like just as foreign, like
Yeah,
not quite.
it felt very foreign.
Oh, not as
It
homely
felt
as you thought.
no,
it would be.
it was
Mm.
not. And yeah, it was very strange.
Hmm.
Like, I was looking to, like, there was like an empty hole in my heart
Uh-huh.
that I was trying to fill,
Uh-huh.
right? And I thought that hole will be filled when I go to Korea,
see.
and once I step on the land
Uh-huh.
and seeing the Korean sign, and people speaking Korean everywhere.
Yeah,
and
but that didn't do it.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Interesting.
It wasn't it.
Wow.
That wasn't it.
Wow, what a letdown.
I know, but hey, but still though, I enjoyed food a lot.
Oh,
like the
come on.
street food,
Yeah.
man. Like the hot dog,
Oh, the winter
tteokbokki.
street food is special.
That's the
It's so special.
yeah, it's so good.
Gosh.
And I remember you telling me about like when you went to South Korea, like your taste buds like frozen in time.
Yeah, I left in middle school, so like everything I ate in middle school is just about how sophisticated my palate is in Korea.
right.
So like all I ate was just street food.
24/7.
Oh, I love that. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. In the middle of summers, it was hard being outside, but like every opportunity I got, like I was eating that hot street food, like sweating bullets in like 105-degree
It's
weather.
like August, middle of August, right? Humid and hot.
Yeah,
Hey, but-
spicy hot food, but it was so good.
But I mean, like, that's how the Korean culture too is, right? It's like
Yeah.
you chase away the budowi, like the
That's
hotness
right. You
with
fight
like
fire with fire.
Fire with fire, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that wasn't even the intention, but I guess I might have done that.
yeah.
Yeah. But that is very interesting. I mean, what about it? I mean, it had the things you're looking for. Clearly, there are Korean signs. Clearly, there are people speaking Korean.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
the initial warm welcome that you had at the time is no longer there because, of course, like when the plane full of North Korean defectors arrive, they
Mhm.
tell the domestic people, say, hey, there's North Korean people, please welcome them or whatever, right? That might
Yeah.
have gone on, but
yeah.
just that's clearly not there anymore. But like, what else was missing? Like, what do you think it was?
I think it was like unpaved roads, unpaved roads and kind of like a giwatjang house that I was looking for.
Oh, the traditional Korean homes, like so really you had nostalgia for your old life in like
yeah.
in North Korea. And
I was
that's
trying
hard
to look
find
for
in
exactly
Seoul, at least not in
No,
Sinchon anywhere.
No, if I went to like a countryside, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, because
Yeah.
there's like a nontuk, right? So what's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a rice field?
Yeah, rice field. I don't know what's called, like the ditch.
Ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to look for my old lives, in Korea, and I
I
could not
see.
find it anywhere else.
No, right.
So it kind of it made me a little sad, and then on top of that, having no money,
Oh.
right, and like having to worry about like, oh shoot, like after I go back to the state, because like right now I'm living with my girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I hope my in-laws don't listen to this, because like there's nothing I can do.
Yeah,
I have no
I mean,
money.
it's
I have
not
no
like you know
friends.
anybody.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a shame that you didn't know your parents back then.
I know. That would have been so nice. But yeah, I was spending most of my time with Maddie, and I was just like paranoid. I was just very concerned about like if I go, because I have $0 in my bank account.
Wow.
Like I'm going negatives,
Oh my
and like
goodness.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. And the February comes around, I have to leave the States. I come back, I have no money. I go back to my the Duna that I was mentioning to you
Yeah.
about. I go back to her house, and then she's like, "Yeah, you can crash on my couch
Oh,
until
wow.
we find
Well, that's very
find you
nice.
something."
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "Here is a big spoonful of I told you so."
Oh, about working at Link.
Yeah, about working at Link. You should not have done that, but you're stupid.
So she knew that you would get exploited.
Yeah.
Wow.
And not just her, but there's other guy who was, I'm not sure if he was rescued by Link, but Link reached out to him many, many times, but he refused. And he's working as a sushi chef in NorCal. He's in San Jose. And like oftentimes when I go back, right, like to San Jose, like I would come down like once in a while and I visit like my friends in NorCal. And he used to tell me like, why do you want to work for Link? Like I know, and Danny from North Korea,
Yeah.
he's a really good friends with him too,
Uh-huh.
right? And every time he would come back and complain about Link, he knows everything. Like he knows every like a little dirty secrets that Link has, because the Danny would come home to him and just keeps complaining. So now he knows what Link is up to, and he's
see.
keep telling me too. It's like, don't do that. Like, why do you do that?
Yeah.
But I mean, like
Wow.
for me, like at the time, right? It's like, why can't you see? Like I'm doing this for North Korean people. I'm not doing this for
and
Link.
the funny thing is you weren't wrong.
I
you were
wasn't
not wrong.
Yeah, I wasn't. and I was just like, both of you guys, if you could see like what I'm doing, I'm making change. I'm making impact. I'm making money. I'm raising
you
money.
totally did. You totally
I
did.
did. Yes, yes. I mean, after all, I've met my wife through link. So
There you go. I mean, but I'm talking about the work that you did probably fund many trips.
absolutely,
Yeah, for people to get rescued out of China and North Korea.
absolutely.
And
yeah.
I mean, I think it is an important life lesson, isn't it? No matter how good of a work that you're doing, if you don't advocate for yourself and your
Mhm.
well-being and your family's
Mhm,
well-being, then
it,
mean-
it kind of becomes toxic.
right,
I think.
it's not sustainable is
It's
what
not-
it
it is
is.
not,
And what's funny is that it's probably that exact mindset that turned Link into what it's doing now.
Mm.
Right? Like, oh, if
Right.
I don't feed my family, I can't keep doing this. I have to do this, and now not enough money to pay the intern. So, oh well, something's got to give.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just, I don't know. Optics wise, it is very, at the very least, right? I do think that having internships that are that long, unpaid, especially understanding. I mean, they, out of all people, should know North Korean refugees living in the United States don't have a good source of income.
They don't.
Right? So,
right?
like, perhaps, somebody should have paused and think about that or thought about that. But at the same time, I can also somewhat sympathize with the reasons they may have had. Right?
Mhm, mhm. I mean, yeah. I mean, all the reasons. Like, I can't think of all the reasons that
Right.
they would done what they have done to me.
Uh-huh.
Right? And I do forgive them. Like, I do forgive them, and because I'm in a better place now because of you guys. And
Uh-huh.
and there was at a time when I actually wanted to sue Link
Uh-huh.
because like the pain in my back.
Uh-huh.
Right. And for a while I couldn't even twist my neck.
Wow.
If I twist my neck a little differently, I hear it pop in my neck, like in the back of
Ooh,
my neck.
Wow.
And I'm just stiff.
wow.
Like there's one video that I'm gonna share it with you later on that I actually filmed while my neck was really stiff. Like I couldn't
Wow.
even walk straight.
Oh my
But
goodness.
these guys wanted me to film. So I'm like,
Oh, they're still pressuring you to make content. for
right,
the
right, because
fundraising.
like,
My
oh, yeah,
goodness.
you're intern, you're working here. So it's Monday. It's a Monday. Let's go work.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All
anyway,
right.
so
certainly certain like ethical boundaries were pushed far.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's, I mean, there was clearly at times, but if to me more than like angry, like I was at times and I was
Rightfully
angry,
so.
like-
I would be too.
yeah,
Who wouldn't be?
and because of that, I actually for next episode possibly because we are approaching time. I'm sorry. I was just
Yeah, we've
rambling
gone
about
long,
Link,
but this is an interesting
but-
insight into what's going on, like particularly to the life of North Koreans after they resettle. Like just because you arrived at the paradise, right?
yeah, it doesn't
It's
doesn't
American
mean that
paradise,
it's like
you know,
happily
aside
ever
from-
after.
Right. There's no happily ever after,
No.
and then you have to like
Find
advocate
your-
for it, fight for it.
That's right. I mean,
and
it's just
protect
the
it.
beginning, right? It's like
Wow.
it's just the beginning of your life.
Uh-huh.
Literally, like you've been wasting. Well, not wasting. Wasting is the wrong word. You've been in the dark, right?
I mean,
for
North Korea surely wasted your time, teaching you things that you didn't need to know, not teaching you the things you should have known.
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like people didn't choose to be there, right?
Of
'Cause they
course.
were just born
Of course.
there,
Yeah.
and that like therefore they were just in the dark, right?
Yeah.
And when we, like us
Uh-huh.
North Korean defectors, come out of North Korea,
Mm.
that's when their life really began.
Uh-huh.
Right, really began,
Yeah.
and
wow.
There needs to be some sort of like support, right?
Yeah.
People who chooses to go to South Korea is a different story.
That's right. There's
but
better
for
support for them. But
That's right,
Even
because, like,
then, even
language
then, right?
is the same,
Yeah.
culture is the same, food is the
Yeah.
same, right? And they have friends, communities.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, even then,
Yeah.
only 50%.
50%, more,
Are-
even more than 50%.
Yeah, more than 50% are
people
unhappy.
are unhappy. Yeah, in
So-
South Korea.
Imagine if you don't speak the language, don't have the culture, don't have the support system, societally or otherwise, then yeah, like that is almost guaranteed to be rough time.
Guaranteed to be failure.
Wow.
Right? But here's the thing too. There are 400 documented North Korean refugees
Uh-huh.
in the United States.
Mm.
Maybe like 410 now.
Okay.
'Cause, yeah,
Wow.
there have been a few more people coming in.
Uh-huh.
And here's the thing, like we're not so connected.
Hmm.
It's very interesting. Like I don't know.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, that's the question that I'm asking myself
Huh.
too. Like maybe it's like systematic, some sort of I don't know, like a distancing.
Yeah, well, let me kind of throw a conjecture out there, and the social scientists who are listening to this, please let us know if you know better, because you probably do. The people who are in diaspora, right, people who are scattered across in a larger culture, they're usually underprivileged, right? So there are less, fewer economic opportunities they have. Obviously, fewer opportunities for education, for ways for you to like live even like an average life, right? So if your everyday, just like you were, is all about surviving, as it was in North Korea, as it was when you're a sushi chef and having to pay off some silly debt, thanks to some bad dealers, car dealers that took advantage of you.
Yeah.
Then like, what room do you have in your life to think about, oh, let me connect with other North Koreans, especially if the country's so huge and they may be like you, maybe hundreds or if not thousands of miles away. I mean, that's my guess, is that these people don't have enough support to really stand on their own to begin with. So therefore, they're back into the cycle of like, oh, I just need to worry about what I'm going to eat next. And then that just does not give them the enough mental space to have to be able to think about, okay, let's connect, let's join forces, get support, or give support.
And also underlining that is like, one of the friends that I knew, he fell into this deep depression of like, he came to America for better life, right? And like wanting to have better life, right?
Of course.
But coming to America with no money, no support, and only thing that he owns is an apartment, like not even renting an apartment and owning a car. That two things just takes his entire paycheck away.
Right.
Because he works as a sushi restaurant, as a sushi, as a sushi help.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. And he doesn't have this really a moment to breathe, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't have time to enjoy like vacations, for example, or I think that kind of things does not exist in his realm, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, he fell into this depression, just drinking his life away. And he got DUI, and he couldn't get like.
Oh, and it's a spiral. Yeah, wow.
So it's like a very vicious cycle, right? It's not just for North Korean refugees, but a lot of other refugees as well.
Well,
like
I'm
if
sure.
if you don't have, and if you don't know the community, and if you're not plugged into a community,
right,
there is like a very high like chance that you're not gonna be successful.
Wow. So it seems like even for organizations like Link, the message to throw out there is that rescuing people is just the beginning, like you said, right?
I mean,
If the support them to set them up for success is not there, then there's high likelihood that they will fail, right? And I mean, also from the societal perspective, right? If the society is going to spend money, time, and resources to rescue refugees, to take them into the country, right? But if you're not supporting them to harness them with great resources, then really it will just become a burden again, right? You want them to success. You want them to, contribute positively to society. And I know that a lot of the refugees coming to South Korea have that intention, right? Like, oh, wow, I've been saved. Like, I'll do whatever I can to be a positive, contributing member of the society. Yet, again, intentions don't necessarily end up with outcomes. Just you're not given the right environment to really carry that out.
Yeah, so. I mean, they're always like, fall back into their old habits,
right?
Of like, is there anything that I can just cut corners? It's like stealing, and which
not knowing how to, do finances.
Survive. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to share, a very sensitive topic in the next episode.
Okay.
It's regarding to my friend who I used to work at Link, who I used to work with at Link, and a very tragic story rather.
Oh, wow.
So I hope my audience are ready for that for next episode. But
wow.
Yes,
well, I mean, for the first time, I'm gonna say I'm not really looking forward to the next episode, but it seems that it's a message that we all need to hear and be aware of. All right. Well, thank you, Charles, for sharing the story today.
Mike. Thank you so much for listening, listeners. I'll see you on the next episode.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.